It's all falling apart for Sir Keir Starmer, so he's fled the country again. Billy no mates at NATO. Still, it's better than being President Trump's bag carrier.
We all know the great Prime Minister of the UK, and we just signed a document. This is... Sorry about that. A very important document. A little windy out here. Give it that.
He's been PM for less than a year, and he's been on at least 26 foreign trips. He's missed PM queues for the second week running, but we know what he's trying to avoid.
Wrong to balance the books on the backs of the sick and disabled people.
There are alternative, more compassionate ways to balance the books.
There are decisions made in this House that stay with you for the rest of your life. This is one of them.
He is facing a huge rebellion over welfare reforms. Around 123 Labour MPs are set to vote against him. One of his whips has resigned over it. The man who everyone knows will replace him is doing the media rounds, sticking the knife in.
The PLP delivers its collective wisdom in such numbers. It is invariably right, and it is right on this. And I would say to the government, listen to the PLP. We all want the government to succeed, but the government needs, I think, to take a more unifying path. And on this issue, it should pause, it should get back round the table.
And if he doesn't, he'll take his job. Anyway, his MPs are being told that the welfare reforms are a confidence vote in Sir Keir Starmer. And they don't care. Maybe because they don't have confidence in him. And the public doesn't seem to either. Public trust in the government is at its lowest level since records began. And Sir Keir Starmer can run all he wants. But he can't hide, because eventually the British media will catch up with you.
You can't govern your party. How do you govern the country?
Why have you so spectacularly failed to read the mood among your MPs over this issue?
You turned on the winter fuel payment.
Looking at the number of Labour MPs rebelling at the moment.
Your critics suggest you don't have the political nous and judgment required for the top job.
The opposition to your benefits changes is growing.
Are the 120 Labour MPs who are backing the amendment among them?
Alongside that promise that you have to not put up taxes on those you describe as working people.
He looks like a broken man who's all out of ideas. He wants to cut the welfare bill. Fair enough. We need to get people off benefits. But the problem he's got is he is from the Labour Party, and he's spent his entire political life moaning about doing things like cutting disability benefits, and now he's doing it. The irony is he's relying on the Tories to get it through.
But, Mr. Speaker, on this side of the House, we are absolutely clear. We will help her to get their bill through if they can commit to actually reducing the welfare bill and getting people off benefits and into work.
We are witnessing the beginning of the end for Sir Keir Starmer, and I think he knows it. Let's get thoughts of my panel. We have the Director of the Popular Conservatives, Mark Littlewood. We've got Tory MP for Tatton, Esther McVeigh, and journalist and broadcaster Nina Mishkov. Mark, Sir Keir Starmer, frankly, is on the run, isn't he, at the moment?
He's on the run, he's on the ropes. It's absolutely bizarre that less than a year in, we're probably in the dying days of this government. The problem is that the dying days are going to take another 4 years because the Labour majority is so high. I mean, I'm still staggered. I knew I wouldn't approve of much of what Labour was attempting to do, but I'm still staggered. They apparently came into office with no plan, no party unity around them, no ability to stick to what were pretty clear pledges they made in the election, like no tax rises on working people. That's gone and will be even worse come October. My suspicion is he will pull this welfare bill. A rebellion on that scale by the Labour backbenches mean the maths aren't there. And Esther can tell us what the Conservatives are planning, but it would be humiliating for the government that their welfare reforms only passed because those on the blue side backed it. So the shambles goes on. Unfortunately, Patrick, it's going to go on for another 4 years.
Well, on that note, Esther, are the Tories going to help him get this through, do you think?
Well, there was a big if, wasn't there? The if was get the benefit down get people into work and don't put taxes up in October. Well, that's not going to happen. So I wouldn't be voting for it, because what have we got? We've got a shambolic and quite a cruel benefit change, actually, because it wasn't about benefits, it's not about reform, it's not about support to get people into work. This was to save Rachel Reeves. They needed £5 billion because she did that horrendous budget going back to October, desperately looking around for anybody. They thought, that budget's big, let's cut it. But they didn't know how they were going to do it. So it's a brutal slice, and that's why the government's own figures say it's going to push 250,000 people into poverty. That's why Labour is up in arms about it, who it's not helping, how many people it's pushing into poverty, and at a time, because remember, these are left-wing Labour, they cannot stomach defence spending up, benefits down. What is their moral purpose, is what they're saying.
At least 26 foreign trips. I think the number might actually be higher, because he's been to France about 5 times. If you include that, I believe it's actually around 35 when you add up the multiple different foreign trips that he's had. But, he's legged it, hasn't he? He doesn't want to be here. He doesn't want to face the music.
He's running away. Do you seriously expect him to duck out on an important NATO summit?
Well, he's been on the run for a couple of weeks, actually, hasn't he? Was the G7? Is this?
You have to be at the G7. You have to be at this NATO meeting. You can't. Trump is there. So he's not running away. He's not running scared of the domestic situation. It is a dreadful domestic situation for him. I understand that, and you may not know. The others know. I don't vote Labour, so I didn't vote for him. But I can see what he's trying to do. And the trouble is that he's not sent the right message. He's not, let people know that there's giving £1 billion to assist people into work. Because let's face it, the benefits bill is absolutely outrageous. And the fact that there are nearly 1 million people, young people between the ages of 16 and 24, who are either not in employment, not in training, and not in education. So This has to be done. There are kids sitting at home in their bedroom going, obviously there's some people who are really, really in need of help, but there are kids in their bedroom going,
but we need a leader, don't we?
I'm really not.
We need a leader, and that bloke's looking around there, walking around like Billy No Mates, picking up papers after Donald Trump, saying things like, to be really clear, I'm really clear.
So what
would you do?
Present the nation with a vision.
Hang on, can I just tell you why people say he should have given a statement to Parliament, because he's been away for 2 weeks. So obviously not on certain days that he was at the G7 and NATO, but he's had 2 weeks, and he was in voting on Friday. He was around on Monday slapping Zelensky on the back outside Number 10, and some of the biggest things have happened in those 2 weeks. A massive U-turn on the rape gang inquiry, abortions to birth, assisted dying, and also this DWP, and what's been going on in Iran.
This is it. Globalist, man of the world, international human rights lawyer. Meanwhile, everything's going on here, and he's not here. He doesn't want to be here because he realises that even now the noise on the backbench hate him.
Yeah, and he hasn't articulated a vision, especially about welfare reform. It's worth bearing in mind, even if the government succeeds in passing these proposals, and I suspect they will not, but even if they do, it's not a cut to the welfare bill. It just stops it going up as fast as it otherwise would have done. We're on track for the welfare bill, not including pensions, going north of 100 billion from about 70 billion now. This would mean it only got to about 95, 98 billion. And he's not even going to be able to get that through. He hasn't got a coherent approach to what are called PIPs, personal independence payments. These are for people who need assistance and help. But bizarrely in Britain, 1,000 new people a day are qualifying for personal independence. What unreported plague has hit the United Kingdom?
Well, those are COVID numbers. Do you remember when we had the COVID death counter? Seriously, do you remember that? We had the COVID death counter during the pandemic, and it used to appear at the bottom of your screen like a little clock when Chris Whitty and co were there dishing out their slides of doom. And it would have things like 1,000 people today have done that. Why don't we do it for benefits? 1,000 people today have signed on. Well, it's a pandemic.
It's outrageous that I think it's almost between a quarter and a fifth of this country are deemed disabled.
24% are deemed disabled of all British people.
24% of people in Britain are disabled. Just think about that.
Also,
seriously.
it's down to supposedly, mental health issues. Now, where are these mental health issues suddenly springing up from? Why are people thinking that they can't? I mean, there are obviously...
Well, in fairness, there's a lot to be depressed about, isn't there?
Well, yes, there are lots of desperate people. There are people who are genuinely disabled and genuinely need help.
But not a quarter of the population.
Not a quarter of the population. So good on him for doing something about it.
OK, so two questions to you, Esther. How terminal is this for Keir Starmer? I mean, we've spoken before about there wasn't a rebellion over the winter fuel payment. There wasn't a rebellion over the farmers. There wasn't a rebellion over a variety of these different deals that he's cut with the EU or Chagos or any of this stuff. Things that many people, I think, could and possibly should have rebelled about. But now the rebellion's on, isn't it? So why now, do you think?
Well, sometimes there is that one thing, the straw that breaks the camel's back. And I think this, for the Labour Party, to cut benefits for disabled people, this is it. We've taken that. We're now going to protest on this. Equally, they've seen him do several U-turns on the winter fuel allowance, which actually was a massive issue for them. And they've seen, OK, he's done U-turns. We went out and defended you on things we do not believe.
Yes.
The odds are you're going to do a U-turn here. And they will. So as they're calling them up now, they're saying things like, well, it might be a general election, you could be forced to the polls, and they will know. So this is how they're going to shore their members up. They'll say, you're going to lose your seat. You've only been here a year. Your odds are going to use your seat. So they'll be using every tool in the trade to get them through the voting lobby. Or I think they could pull it. I certainly don't think, they said they might put pressure on the Speaker not to call the amendment. I don't think that's not possible at all. But if it's a reasoned amendment, they can try and delay it. But I think the best bit is him to say, I've heard you, I've listened, let's get round the table and see what I can do.
He's finished it. And the irony will be, Nina, as well, is that he will be finished over stuff that when he first went into politics, became Prime Minister, he never thought he'd do. He never thought he'd cut welfare for the disabled. He never thought he'd take money off pensioners. He never thought he'd come in and try to cut immigration.
But you can't
That's what's finished him.
You can't blame it all on him. You have to blame it on the Conservative government who've just destroyed, team destruct, and they did. The thing is... Dame Meg Hillier is an old hand, and so she's...
I wondered what you were going to say there. But an old hand, yes.
Shows you what you think of her.
You were going to say, not me. I'm a friend of hers. I get on with her.
She's an old hand. But I'm saying a lot of that 123 are young, and they've come into politics with hope in their hearts and philanthropy, and they probably know that they're not going to maybe get there into the seats. So that it's not their career.
The nation feels like he's lied to them, and now his own MPs feel like he's lied to them.
Well, he has.
And that's pretty terminal.
He's not lied to them over the welfare bill. He has not lied to them.
Well, he can't get anything through. Esther's right. When there's blood in the water over U-turns, it's very, very hard for the Prime Minister and the Chancellor to survive. I don't think he's
going anywhere, and neither is Rachel Reeves.
Well, I tell you what, it's great news for every single other party if he doesn't go anywhere. It's great news.
But there's nobody else to replace him. That's why he won't go anywhere.
Well, Andy Burnham will have to win a by-election or
what about
put himself in the Lords.
There's nobody there.
Anyway, all right.